There's a lot of alerts and notifications that are happening. But you guys, I really want you to get the full value out of today's session. You're here, you're dedicated yourself to the next, commit yourself to the next 45 minutes to really absorb this material, because I guarantee that it's going to make a difference in your business. I promise you that this is the culmination of years of understanding what agents need to do to really level up in their business. And I'm going to share that with you guys today. So this topic could not be more important for you. And again, if you give me 45 minutes, I'm going to give you some great information that's going to really create change, create a difference in your business. So without further ado, let's dive right in. For those that don't know who I am, again, I mentioned I'm a psychology-driven digital marketer. I've been in the real estate space since 2004, but really was born into real estate. I mean, my mom was a real estate agent in the 70s, and so I, it's kind of coursing through my blood. So I basically married my real estate understanding and experience with marketing technology to really produce results for agents and loan officers. And so I'm an Inman contributing author, Inman ambassador. I also am a certified technology instructor for NAR. I'm a host of a podcast. I'm very active in the real estate community from a coaching, training, speaking standpoint. And you're free to reach out to me at any time by simply going to getwithaaron.com, or again, reach out to Maureen or Mary to connect. I'd love to help you with your individual need and your business. So you guys, here we go. We're going to jump right into this. There's quite a few slides here. Okay. So hang with me. Check these slides out, right? I'm going to explain each one, and I promise you that you're going to walk away today with a ton of value. Your mind's going to be spinning. Now, I am not recommending that you implement every single thing that I'm going to share with you today, but if you implement one thing, if what I share with you today creates one difference in your business, then it's a success, right? And so that's it. So we live in a time where visibility and perception trumps ability. And this is just, it couldn't be more crucial and important for you to really understand that your visibility, especially as it relates to your online presence and the perception of your ability to create success, is more important than, frankly, your experience and your ability to actually deliver that success. Right now, you're not going to build a massive business if you're not bringing a high level of service and creating a unique experience for people. But at the end of the day, if we're just trying to get a conversation started, visibility and perception are absolutely everything. They're paramount to our success. So we really need to understand how visible we are online. What is the perception of our ability to create success for people? And so what we do know, according to ComScore, is that 91% of online adults use search engines to find information on the web. And here's the other thing too. We know that if 9 out of 10 adults are going to Google specifically to search for us, what shows up when they do that search? What shows up if they do that search? And what do they think if nothing shows up for us when they do that search? So again, I'm going to dive into Google. We're going to take a look at a few agents and kind of judge their online presence. So we're going to go right into online reputation. And online reputation, the definition is the practice of attempting to shape public perception, right, based on the information that exists online. So shaping perception, right? That is your online reputation. And again, we need to answer the question: how effectively does the information that shows up for us online speak to our ability to professionally guide someone through a transaction? And if we just look at perception for a second, right, we know that perception is incredibly important. But if you look at perception as it relates to influence, right, as it relates to influence, and I'm actually launching very soon a podcast all about influence, because influence is really everything when it comes to business. It's your brand. It is how much, how much influence or how much are we affecting people based on when they decide to make, when they have a real estate need, or they take action on a real estate challenge that they have. Are they going to think about us? Are we somebody that they hold in high value? And if we look at the perception pyramid here, on the right-hand side of my screen, at the very bottom, with the least amount of influence, is what we think. Okay. And above that, with a little more influence, is what we say. And with a little more influence than that is what we do. And at the very top of the perception pyramid is how we are perceived, right? How people perceived us. And the CEO of Better Homes and Garden actually said that the more people know us, right, perceived or actual, the more they'll trust us. And the more they trust us, the greater likelihood that they'll work with us. And if you think about giving people information that allows them to formulate a perception for you, that allows them to start to trust you, we have to really understand the fact that we have to provide information to people, right? We have to give them, we have to share with them. And typically right now in this world we're living in, sharing happens online. It happens on social media, it happens on our website, it happens through posts that we share on social media, through blog posts that maybe we add to our website, through video content that we're posting to social media, our website or our YouTube channel. So whether it's Instagram or Facebook, that is shaping the public perception of who we are and our ability to create success with people. That is otherwise known as transparency, right? Transparency, opening the curtains, letting people know what we know, letting them know how we function as a professional, let them know the success that we're creating, let them know who we are just as a person, what our hobbies and interests and passions are. All of those things build trust, right? And I know some of those things are a challenge because some of us are a little more private than others. Some of us weren't born in an age and grew up in an age of Instagram and Facebook, right? We've had to adopt and adapt those platforms into our worlds, sometimes uncomfortably, sometimes with a lot of friction and resistance. And because our peers aren't just free flowing, openly sharing like maybe younger generations are, right? If you look at, even, Alyssa, if you don't mind me using you as an example, Alyssa Gonzalez on the call right now, she is very open and transparent with what's happening in her life. But now that's a little more normal for her than it would be for somebody else to just go, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's where I'm going on this hike, or I'm eating this, or whatever that looks like. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying we need to document everything we're doing in our lives, but the more information we share with people, the more likely they are to trust us. Okay. And so that's really what the name of the game is. Now, we can share information it's not always going to be personal, right? A lot of it's going to be professional in nature too. We just need to understand there should be a mix, but we need to know first and foremost what actually is showing up for us. So what I would say to you is, when was the last time you searched for yourself on Google? And by the way, everyone is muted. Feel free to unmute yourself to answer any of these questions at any time. And so, or ask a question. But what I would say to you is, if you haven't Googled yourself recently, type your name into Google, first and last name. You're welcome to do it right now if you want, and add your company name or a city behind that, or your title. So realtor, Aaron Lacey Realtor, or Aaron Lacey Livermore, or Aaron Lacey West, right? And what do the search results look like for you? What shows up when you do that search? Is there a lot of competition for your name? For example, you'll notice on this screen, under my name, you can see that it says all videos, images, maps, news, more. And then under that, it says about 13,700,000 results, right? So there's a lot of Aaron Lacey. There's actually a lot of Aaron Lacey's, and there's a lot of just those two words together in some sort of piece of content on Google. So what I would say is, if you're not showing up, if your profiles aren't showing up when you do a search for just your first and last name, add a city, add your brokerage, add your title to that search to see if you start to show up a little more. If when you add those things, you're still not showing up, then we've got some work to do. Yeah, we definitely have some work to do to really improve and increase, again, the perception of you, your visibility when someone does that search for you online. The other thing to keep in mind, when you do a search for yourself in Google and you're logged in, guess what Google's going to do, right? Chrome, whatever browser you're using, you're most likely logged into Google, because we all have a Gmail account of some sort. Of course, Google's going to return results that are very personalized to you. They know if you're searching for yourself, they're going to show you you. So to mimic the experience that someone might have searching for you, what you want to do is search for yourself using a browser you're not logged into, or log out of the browser, or use what's called incognito mode. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yep. So what I would say is, let's say you always use Chrome, jump on Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge or Safari or Firefox and search for yourself there to see what comes up. Okay. So again, your name, word realtor or real estate afterwards, your location, what shows up when you do this. And again, what is the perception if nothing shows up or little shows up? So we're going to jump into some examples of what that looks like as well. I'm going to share a few stats with you here. 45% of people say they found something in an online search that made them decide not to do business with that realtor. Almost 50%, right? In just the search results. I'm not talking, it's not like, this isn't saying that they jumped into your Facebook or your LinkedIn and started looking at your posts. It's just saying based on one result they found, they decided not to move forward with somebody. And then on the flip side, based on what they saw in the search results, they decided to do business with somebody. And when I say do business, I mean, think about where our business comes from: referral, repeat, leads, right? Maybe someone we'd met at an open house at one point. Those are people that don't necessarily have a relationship with you, and they're going online to vet you out, to figure out if you're the right fit for them. Okay. These are people that are looking at your online presence as if that is you, and making a decision on whether to move forward with you based on any red flag they see there or not. Right. And so let me just summarize what we've covered so far. We know that almost 90% of people that, again, past clients, someone that was just referred to you, a potential borrower, a buyer or seller, right? Anybody that you've just met, maybe even had a conversation with in person or over the phone, things maybe went well, even a lead that may not know you, they're all going to go to Google. They're all going to search for you, or 9 out of 10 of them will. And they're going to make a decision on whether to move forward with you or not, based on simply the search results, not even necessarily what they're seeing on these profiles for the most part. Okay. So I want to make sure you're not getting disqualified. I want to make sure you're not losing out on opportunities, because we don't really know when that happens anyways. So I want to minimize those opportunities, or lack of opportunities. So I'm going to spotlight 3 agents here. First agent's name is Tomer. And if you do a search for Tomer, these are what the results look like. Okay. Here's another agent, Alla, and her search results look a little different. And what's different here? Well, you'll notice on the right-hand side, you'll see her Google business profile. Okay. And that's what's different for her. And then if we look at the third agent here, you'll notice that she, not only does she have a Google business profile, but she also has taken the time to ask her network, ask people that know her in a business capacity, her past clients. She's taken the time to ask them for ratings and reviews. And that's something that if we're not actively doing right now, we absolutely have to dive into that 110%, because that is everything moving forward. And I'm going to share with you a little more about why ratings and reviews, otherwise known as social proof, is incredibly important to the success of your business moving forward, especially as people turn online to make a decision, not just where they want to eat, not just a hotel they want to stay at in a place that they're not familiar with, but whether they want to move forward with you or not. Because if they can see that someone in a similar situation or scenario has had success with you, then they know they're likely to have that same success. Yeah, that's what social proof is all about. Okay. And so Tammy's taken the time to do that. And that's why she's one of the top agents in Beverly Hills. Let me spotlight an agent real quick. And I know we talked about Google business here. So the Google business profile, right? And I'm going to show you quickly how to set that up. But once we set that up, here's what that's going to do for you. Not only will it provide a profile right next to the Google search results for a search for you, but if you notice, this screen on the left-hand side is desktop. This over here on the right-hand side is on your phone. If you do search for someone on a browser on your phone on Google, what's going to happen is that profile shows up above the search results. So it's the very first thing that someone might see. So it could be their first introduction, the first impression they have of you. And, what a great opportunity to make a powerful first impression. Now, here's what's neat too. Imagine if they pull you up, here's your Google business profile. And then they also see a, 4-star rating or above. They see you've got quite a few reviews. They also see that you've been rated and reviewed on other sites around the internet, like, Facebook or Yelp or Zillow even. And that you even have some posts on this profile, because actually what most don't realize, your Google business profile gives people the opportunity to read posts that you have, ask you questions. So there's a Q&A section. And oftentimes what we're finding is that people actually don't go beyond the Google business profile, because there's enough meat in that profile that they actually stop right there. They don't even look at the additional search results, because they don't want to spend the time doing that if they don't feel like they don't need to. And they'll simply move forward with you right there. The other thing that this isn't showing here, see these little circles here where it says call, direction, save website? On mobile, there's actually another one here that says message. And they can actually message you directly from the search results, right from this profile, right from their phone. And it's going to land right in your text messages. Okay. And so, I just surprised my wife with a mobile car cleaning because my kids decided to have a toothpaste fight in the passenger front seat. Which was a lot harder to remove than I thought it was going to be. So I said, let's bring in some professionals. I jumped online, searched for mobile detailing. I live in the Phoenix, Arizona area. And I said, mobile detail Phoenix. A list of service providers in Phoenix showed up. And I messaged the one that had great ratings and reviews, right? That looked like the most legitimate. That's what people are doing for real estate agents as well. 20% of homeowners are finding their real estate agent online. Okay. The other 60 to 70 to 80% are finding their real estate agent through referral, or they're using the agent that helped them buy the home. And so again, very, very, very powerful profile. And you'll also notice in this Google business profile that it says reviews from the web. So it's looking in other locations to see how legitimate, what the credibility is of that agent. And it's pulling those reviews in automatically. It's nothing that you're doing. They're automatically pulling those in from places like Zillow, Facebook, Yelp, Houzz, these locations and more. Now, I'm not saying that you need to have a profile in all these locations. You definitely don't. But the more profiles you have online, the larger your online presence is going to be just in general. The more credible Google is going to see you as. And when someone goes and does a search for best real estate agent in Livermore or a real estate agent near me, Google is more likely to return your Google business profile than another real estate agent's. And you'd be surprised how many agents are generating business by simply having a Google business profile and generating reviews to that profile. In fact, if I go back, John Gluck of the Gluck Group actually generates over 80% of his business from his online presence that include Google business profile and his Yelp business profile. Simply those two profiles. Okay, and he's got a large team in the Scottsdale, Arizona market. And so again, he's really capitalized on this opportunity. So if say, for example, you did a top real estate agent in Livermore or a top real estate agent, in this case, Phoenix, you'll see that agents actually show up, ones that have at least a 4-star rating or higher. And so again, huge opportunity to generate organic leads, right? Organic opportunities for yourself. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to actually jump onto Google right now. And for those that don't have a Google business profile, I'm going to simply just quickly walk you through what that looks like. So all you'll need to do is go to business.google.com. So business.google.com. And if you're logged in to Google, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. If you're logged into Google and you don't see this screen and you see a screen that looks like this, then you already have a Google business profile. Okay. If you don't already have a Google business profile, but you're logged into Google, you're going to see a screen that looks like this. Now, you may need to sign in. Okay, so there's going to be potentially 2 buttons that show up here, sign in or manage now. You're going to want to click those, either one of those, and it's going to either take you here or to your existing dashboard. So if you don't already have a profile, all you simply need to do is type your first and last name in here, I would type in the word realtor. And the reason we want to use the word realtor is because that's what people are searching for to find you, your first and last name, realtor. And then we'll simply click create a business with this name. So I'll do that. I'll click on next. Okay. Choose a category that best fits your business. What I'm going to type in is real estate. And as I am typing in real estate, you're going to see a bunch of different options. We'll simply select agents, real estate agents. I'm going to click next here. Do you want to add a location customers can visit, like a store or office? You could add your branch office, your branch location here if you want. You don't need to though. Okay, and I'll show you why that is. Let's say that your branch office is in Danville, but you really specialize in Walnut Creek, or you're more in San Jose. Well, maybe you don't want to be connected geographically to Danville. Maybe you want to be connected to a different area. I'll show you how we can create what are called service areas. So what you do here is say no. So again, if the location, the business location you'd insert for maybe your branch office is not the area you specialize in, simply click no here, click on next. Now what we can do is set up service areas. Where do you serve your customers? And what this will allow us to do is this, let's say somebody is in an area that we're going to now declare as a service area for us, and they search for a real estate agent near them. It's very likely that our profile may come up. Now, if we're just locked into Danville, we're only going to come up if someone's in or near Danville. Okay, so I can type in Livermore. I can type in, Dublin. I can type in Danville, right? So what I would say is choose someone in the neighborhood of, 5 to 10 different service areas that you specialize in, and then go ahead and just click on next. Okay, so those will all be cities. Now, it's asking for contact information. We'll plug in our phone number. Okay. And we're going to plug in a website if we have one. If we don't have one, simply click on I don't need a website. There is a third option here. Get a free website based on your info. Here's the deal, you guys. Once you finish your Google business profile, you then have the option to actually create a free website that's hosted with Google that will include everything in your profile, including all your photos, your reviews, all your posts that you make. So it's really a neat opportunity to have another powerful profile show up for you online. So I'm going to say I don't need a website for now. I'm going to click on next. I'm going to go ahead and click on finish. And what's going to happen is they're either going to let me verify my profile via phone, or they're going to do it via mail. And it looks like it's via mail. And now they're simply asking for my mailing address. Now I would just put my home address here. This is not going to be a public profile. Okay, this will be a private profile. And somebody asked, how do I set it up if I have more than one business? I'll show you exactly how to do that. And that's actually what I'm doing right now. So let's say that my home address is this. Okay, we'll plug that in. Let's say Phoenix, Arizona, 85016. Okay, click on next. And now it's going to allow me to verify via postcard by mail. Okay, so they're going to mail me a postcard that has a code on it, and it has a website. So we'll simply go to that website address, enter that code in, and that will then verify our profile, allow that profile to then go live and be active. Okay, so we'll just simply click on mail. Okay, so that's how we'll do that, you guys. It's very, very, very simple. Once you have that profile created, now you can then go in, and then you'll then see a screen that looks like this. Okay, once you verify your profile, it's going to look like this, and this will be your dashboard. Okay, and then so Mohan asked, how do we set it up if you have more than one business? And all you'll simply do is scroll down from your dashboard. So to get to your dashboard, simply go to business.google.com, scroll down on the left-hand side, and you'll simply click on add new location. Add new location. Okay. So that's it, add new location, and then you have the opportunity to go through that process. Okay, awesome, you guys. So I'm not going to dive too deep into the Google business profile now, but what I would say is once you get that set up, you're going to want to do two things. Number one is you're going to want to click on info on the left-hand side. It's your third link down, and you're going to want to fill this page out in its entirety. Okay, so make sure that you have your service areas filled out, your hours of operation filled out, your website's added. You can add some services there, home buying services, home selling services, investor services, okay? And then add your business description or your bio right here as well, Okay. So that's all under the info tab. And then again, on the left-hand side under photos, what we want to do is we want to add what's called a cover photo. And that cover photo is really the photo that represents you in that profile. So we have a cover and a logo. And let me show you what the cover and logo look like. So they simply look like this. So over here on the left-hand side is going to be my cover photo, and then the logo is going to be here. Okay. And the other nice thing I didn't add is that your profile will not only show up on desktop, on mobile, when anyone does a search for you, but it'll also show up in Google Maps. So take a look at this. I can actually click and view it on Maps. And here it'll show up right here on Google Maps, which is great. Okay. So the nice thing about that too, you guys, is, I mean, the future of mapping is definitely with Google. And, all Teslas are using Google Maps. It's tapping into this data that Google has. All those smart home devices that you might have at home, Amazon Alexa, for example, taps into Yelp, but any of the Google home devices, they all will tap right into Google My Business to return business results. And you'd be surprised at how fast voice search is actually growing in popularity. People are asking their devices, they're asking their smart home devices, Amazon, their Alexa or their Siri or Android or Hey Google. They're asking them for directions, they're asking them for recipes, they're asking them for recommendations for businesses. And those different devices are all turning to either Google My Business or Yelp for those results. So let's dive back into our presentation. Any questions on the Google Business Profile? Okay, perfect. So as we continue along, we're stressing the importance of understanding what shows up for you online and really curating and crafting all those profiles and making sure we have the right ones, okay? And that Google My Business, in my opinion, is your most important and valuable online profile. And what's happening is realtors that have a negative article or negative result are losing business. They're not generating as many repeat and referral. They're not converting as many leads. And we're finding that 22% of realtors that have some sort of article or result that's negative are losing 22% of their opportunities. And that doubles for 2 negative results and it triples for 3 negative results. And I want to show you just quickly an example of an agent that I met with last year, that when we did what's called an online audit. It takes about 20 minutes. And I'll just run through what your online presence looks like, make recommendations for how to really improve your online presence. And we did this with Sam, and his third result, if you'll notice, it has a 2 out of 5 star there, right? Not good. What does that actually mean? Well, if you look, the website is mylife.com. What is mylife.com? Nobody really knows, right? It really, what it is it's a directory of people. That is pulled from social media and all these different locations around the internet, and basically just lists people out based on their name and location. And then what you have to do is you have to pay to update the profile. So I'm not a huge fan of these types of websites, but there are quite a few of them online. And unfortunately, Sam's third result was this website. And if you take a look at what this profile that they had up for Sam looked like, it's got his photo, black and white. It looks like a smear campaign for like a political ad. It's like, don't vote for Sam, black and white photo, got a line going up out of his head over the word poor. It's saying he's got a reputation score of 2 out of 5. Now, if I was Joe or Sally homeowner and Sam was referred to me and I did a search for Sam and this profile came up, I'm probably not going to reach out to Sam. I'm going to go, okay, what's option number 2? Because, I don't know necessarily what this website is or what this reputation score means, but I'm not even going to take the risk, right? I don't even want anyone to explain to me that this is just some bogus website because, again, this is showing up for him. So what we did is we worked with Sam to get this website removed and this profile removed. But again, mediation of bad results is a really, really important thing to do. So I'm going to just kind of summarize what makes up your online reputation. This is an overwhelming list of Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Yelp, Google My Business, your website. All those things make up your online reputation, your online presence, right? But it's not just having a profile, having a presence in these places. It's what are you posting? What comments are you making? What photos and videos are you adding? Do you have a bio? Is it consistent with who you are? Or is your bio consistent on all your profiles? So consistency is key. I'm gonna get into that a little more in here in a second. But again, when was your last tweet on Twitter? You know, oftentimes I'll see agents that, you know, they created a Twitter account, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they haven't added anything to it in 2 or 3 years, right? That is reflecting negatively on us. So we need to take all those things into account and really understand that those things comprise our online reputation, and people care about those things. They care about what is showing up. They care about where you're at, what you're saying. And so again, I'm not getting into content posts on social media and whether we're talking and jumping in the political arena or not, because you know my perspective there, right? If you want to basically remove at least 50% of your potential customer base, client base, then get into politics on social media. Okay, that's all I have to say there, right? But maybe you feel so strongly about it that you have to post on it. What I would recommend is that you join a private group and that you vent like crazy in that group, and you keep your personal profiles pretty clean from politics. Here's the thing: your most important online profiles: Google My Business, Yelp, Facebook. And I would say if you're a Zillow Premier Agent, you're part of their Flex program, Zillow is going to be important for you. If Zillow's showing up in your top 5 results on Google, Zillow is an important location for you. If it's not in your top 10 search results, if you're not a Flex agent or a Premier agent, I would not give Zillow any more of my time and attention. I would focus on Google My Business, Yelp, and Facebook, because those are the platforms that are going to be most important to your business moving forward. Those are the platforms that consumers, buyers, and sellers are paying a lot of attention to. I want to touch on brand consistency, or what I call brand inconsistency. Frequently, we've got a lot of different profiles that show up for us online. And they say, you know, Joe Smith here, here's a result that's another guy named Joe with the same company. We've got multiple different headshots, different phone numbers. We've got maybe our old company showing up in different places, an old real estate company that we used to work for. I mean, we've got this scattered, fragmented online presence. And guess what that's doing? That's hurting us. And we don't even realize the extent that it's hurting our business, but we're missing out on an opportunity. So what we want to do is we want to look like this. We want to be consistent with our headshot, consistent with our bio, consistent with our contact information everywhere. And whether Joe goes by Joe or Joseph, we need to pick one and move forward with that, okay? Because our name is our brand. And so we want to be very, very consistent with that. So inconsistency, though, brand inconsistency is a huge problem right now for real estate. You know, we've got multiple different names that we use, addresses, phone numbers. How about our title? Do we go by realtor, real estate professional, real estate broker, real estate advisor, a real estate consultant, neighborhood professional, neighborhood advisor? There's so many different titles that we go by, and frankly, it's very confusing for the general public. They're trying to figure out, well, what are you exactly? Are you a neighborhood advisor or realtor? Is that the same thing? And then your profile photo, your background cover photos, you guys, they all should be the same. They all should really match up in their coloring, their design, the layout. You want to be seen as being consistent, you guys, because consistency is key. Isn't it nice to like have people in your life that are consistent? You know, doesn't that like create like a sense of stability with you? When you go, you know what, if I talk to this person or I spend time with this person or I engage with this person, they're going to be consistent for me. I know that they're a good person to bounce ideas off of. I can trust people that are consistent, right? And gosh, no, you know, we all know how unstable and insecure human beings can be, right? Because this is a scary world, right? And what I would say is this: if you can be that source of consistency for people, that source of stability, you're going to be the person that people trust. And so consistency really starts with your profiles online, with your, you know, all these different websites that show up for you online. Okay. Okay. So as I kind of move through here, again, we talked about reviews, how important that is. That is social proof. Recent study shows that 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. Okay, 88%, right? That is absolutely mind-boggling. 9 out of 10 people trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. I can't believe that. And so, but that's a fact. And so, again, if we're not putting a lot of time and effort into online reviews, asking people for those, we're missing out on a huge opportunity. We're not future-proofing our business. Most people are willing to give us a review if we simply asked. And 90% of consumers, they read reviews before they reach out to somebody. And so I'm going to kind of move through this fairly quickly, but what I want to show you is some of these stats here. 70% of people will leave a review if we simply ask them. And sometimes we have to remind them, but 70% are happy to. The other 30%, they just don't do that kind of thing. Maybe it's not their personality. They don't know what to say, whatever that looks like. So if you can make it so easy for them that all they need to do is basically, click a link, type something in, even copy and paste, I'm telling you, it's going to change your online review world. 90% of consumers read less than 10 reviews. Over 70% of people think that reviews older than 3 months are no longer relevant. So you guys, relevancy, the number of reviews that you get matter. They matter in a big way. So make that a process, make that a part of your business. And you don't have to wait until close of escrow to ask somebody. You can ask them anytime. In fact, you don't even have to ask just a client. You can ask anybody that knows you in a business capacity. You could ask me, ask Mary, Maureen, right? You could ask somebody, you could ask a friend, you could ask family members to review you. Anybody that knows you in a business capacity that can say, yes, I know that, Gloria is a great agent. I know how helpful she is. Those are absolutely valuable, very, very valuable to your business. And what I would say too is reviews versus testimonials. Just quickly, a review is what we're used to, Yelp, Google. Testimonials are things that might be posted on like our news feed, where somebody shares a success story with us, or a testimony or gratitude with us via email or text, and then we repost that. Those don't have as much credibility, right, as an actual impartial, objective review on a site like Yelp or Google, something like that. Okay. Here's what I want to say, you guys. I want to share with you a website called Outbound Engine. And what's neat about this is it shows you the consistency of your brand, of your business online. So if you go to outboundengine.com/profile reach scan, let me see if I can actually, what I'll do? I'll see if we can follow up with some of these links for you. But outboundengine.com/profile reach scan. And you can type in your name, your branch location, your phone number, and click scan now, and it'll find every profile online that has you in it. And you can see how you're doing there. Okay. And then the other thing too is just keep tabs on how you're doing online with setting up a Google alert for yourself, And basically what this will do is this will allow you to get notified of any new search results that show up on Google that are associated with you. Okay, so first and foremost, I would set up a Google alert for myself. So I type in Aaron Lacey, I click on create alert. And then what Google will do is it'll actually email me when it gets any new hits for something that has to do with me. So it could be an article, it could be a social media post, it could be a photo, a video, anything that has to do with me. Okay. The other way that you can use this, in addition to just yourself, you could use this with colleagues, your company, your clients' names, your clients' business names. You could put your competitors and create, alerts for them. How about areas that you work in, Livermore, right? Anything new happening in Livermore, you get notified. It's a great way to then reshare that information. And of course, you're seen as, the person that's in the know, right? You're the go-to for that information, right? Because you're potentially the first person to share that. And where did you get that information? Well, you got that from Google. Okay. Does it mix you up with other Aaron Lacey's? Oh, as far as the Google search, the Google alert. So what I would say is sometimes it does. And what you'll do is it's just like playing around with Google. When you do a search on Google for, let's just say, your first and last name, there may be a lot of other people that show up that have your same name. What you may want to do is simply go back and edit that alert and simply add the word, realtor afterwards, something like that. But I like to know when any Aaron Lacey is doing anything. I know it's pretty interesting. Sometimes it's actually fun content to share on social media. Hey, did you know that like there's an Aaron Lacey that's like a fire captain in like Canada? I think it's really, really interesting. I've actually shared some of his stuff a few times. So again, but if your name's like, Mary Smith or Mary Miller, there's gonna be a lot of competition for you online. So Mary is gonna probably want to do Mary Miller WFG, Mary Miller title, something like that, Mary Miller Livermore, okay, for her search query. Yeah, so great question, you guys. Okay, so with that said, let me go ahead and, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, you guys. We've got just a few more minutes. I'm gonna tap into mindshare psychology for a minute, and then I'm gonna provide a download to Maureen and Mary that they will then email out to you guys, or if you wanna email them, make sure you guys, Maureen and Mary, put your contact information into chat, especially your email address, just so they have it. So everyone on the call has it. And so if anybody's interested in, I've got a top of mind campaign that I'd be happy to share with you guys as well. But I want to dive into mindshare psychology here before we conclude. So mindshare psychology, what does that mean exactly? Well, don't we all want to stay top of mind? Don't we want to be the first person that somebody thinks about when they have a real estate need, or if they have a friend or a family or a neighbor that has a real estate need? So I would say the answer is absolutely yes, right? And so what we're finding though, is that in order to stay top of mind, we need to make sure that we are communicating and getting in front of people once every 3 weeks. Now, on average, most people have a once every 4 week or once a month, email newsletter that goes out, or some sort of touch that they do with their contacts. That's not frequently enough. We need to increase that. Ideally, we increase that to roughly every 2 weeks. Okay. Now, every let's say once a month, we're sending something out via mail, or we have an email newsletter that goes out. And then the other thing that we may do once a month is we may reach out to somebody over social media, or text them or call them, right? So the fact is though, we want to stay in touch with people at least once every 3 weeks, because after that 3 week period, it's not like people forget about Gloria, but they just forget that she's in real estate, right? And she's not occupying mindshare. She's not staying top of mind. So we have a ready and able sales team at our disposal. We just need to remind them we're creating success in real estate. That's it. And how do we remind them we're creating success? If we just share positive information about real estate, that's success. If we share with them what's going on in the market, that's success, right? If we share some testimonials, some reviews, that's success. If we share, again, I think closings are great, you guys, but what I would say is if we close a transaction, what we want to do is want to tell the story behind that closing. Just sharing another closing on social media, I'm sure you probably see a lot of those. We just closed another deal. It's like, great, but you know what? I'm happy for you, but what is the story behind that? Like, what was the experience like? Because I can't relate to a closing, but you know what I can relate to as a homeowner or a potential home buyer? I can relate to the story. I can learn a lot more about you if I hear your story on how you help these people versus that there's a success that you sold a home. So I want to tap into a few different kind of psychology concepts here for the next several minutes, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. So concept number one, Zeigarnik effect. What is the Zeigarnik effect? Zeigarnik effect basically talks about the fact that we have stronger memories for uncompleted tasks versus completed ones. So with that said, we all have things that we have to do that are sitting on the top of our mind right now. Like we need to wash our car, or we need to answer an email, or we need to call somebody, or we need to go to the bathroom, whatever that looks like. That is the Zeigarnik effect. Okay. Right. Zeigarnik effect, you also maybe anxiety, right? Zeigarnik effect can cause anxiety. Right. So again, those tasks, those uncompleted tasks are occupying mindshare. How can we tap into this psychology concept with our clients? Well, what we can do is we can create uncompleted tasks in the mindsets of our database, of our network, of our past clients, of our sphere of influence by doing a couple of different things, a couple of different strategies. Number one would be we can invite them to something, right? If we invite them to something that's later on in the future, later on down the road, a month or two from now, what's going to happen is that's going to occupy their mind share until that event happens. Okay. And they're then going to be thinking about you and that upcoming event for the next 2 months. Okay. That is a way to tap into Zeigarnik effect. Another way to tap into this would be to be consistent with communication to them. And when I say consistent, I mean call them once a month, or maybe it's every other month, and just kind of check in and say, how's the family? How's everyone doing? How's everyone coping? From a very relational standpoint. But if they know you're going to reach out to them on a consistent basis and you actually do that, guess what? You're going to occupy mind share. They're going to be thinking about that phone call that's going to be coming up 2 months from now. They will. And you're going to stay top of mind, because they know that if they refer a neighbor to another agent and that they then have that phone call with you, they're going to have to tell you, right? Especially if you ask them, maybe something real estate related, or they bring it up, they're going to be thinking about, oh my gosh, I just referred someone to another agent. They're going to tell you that and go, I'm so sorry, it's never going to happen again. You're going to go, that's okay, no worries, just don't let it happen again, right? So that's another way to tap into this effect. The other way too is with social media. You guys, social media, when we post, right? When you post something on Facebook or Instagram or wherever you're posting, what happens is it creates this feedback loop. And you're waiting for these dopamine hits. Okay. This is scientific. It's been studied that anytime someone engages with your content on social media, you get a little hit of dopamine. And that is the addictive nature of social media. That's one of the addictive natures of social media. So when you perform some sort of action on social media, waiting for the reaction is the Zeigarnik effect. And it's an unclosed loop, because that post is still fairly fresh and you're waiting for the engagement to happen. When you get the engagement, it provides a dopamine release for you. But here's what you can do. Let's say that you're following your past clients, or you're really pretty engaged in the content and the profiles of people that can really benefit your business. When you engage with their content, and I'm saying not just a like, you guys, I'm talking about a comment or a share. That's the meaningful engagement. You are providing them a dopamine hit. You're literally giving them a drug, right? It's really, really powerful. Guess what? They're going to remember you. They're going to remember you. Here's the other thing I want to share: power of reciprocity. If someone does something for you, you're naturally, human nature, going to want to do something for them, right? And so this concept is so powerful, and the form of it is not just in gift giving, because here's the thing: anything that has any value to somebody is a form of a gift. It's a form of something that somebody's going to want to reciprocate with. If they know you took the time to create, say happy birthday to them, or happy anniversary, or congratulate them on something. If you took the time to do that, not just with a post on their on social media, not just with maybe even with a text message or a quick email. If you go above and beyond and like maybe record yourself via video and send it to them via Facebook Messenger or text message or through BombBomb, that is creating and tapping into the power of reciprocity, right? They're going to remember that for quite a while. And they're going to go, this person cares about me. This person took the time to create something of value for me, and I want to reciprocate that. They'll reciprocate by sending you referrals. They'll reciprocate by thinking about you, by using you again, you guys. I mean, it's that powerful. Think about it too. If let's say it's your birthday and you get 2 birthday cards. One's a birthday card right off the shelf from a store. The other birthday card was like cut out of colored paper and like things glued to it. It was all handwritten. Which one of those are you more likely to keep and hold on to, right? You know what I mean? I mean, that's the thing. The reason is because, one, you know that somebody took the time, the thought, the care. They really put a lot of effort into it. That triggers the power of reciprocity, you guys. Let's tap into one more, you guys. These are kind of fun for me. You may be like, Aaron, what the heck? The frequency illusion. Okay, frequency illusion, I'm seeing them everywhere. This is where the subconscious mind is fed by the conscious mind. A good example would be, let's say that you're in the market for a new car and you're looking at a new Volvo, for example. What are you going to see everywhere on the road until you buy that Volvo or buy a different car? You're going to see Volvos everywhere. That is the frequency illusion, otherwise known as the reticular activating system. That's where your subconscious mind has the Volvo that it's reminding you about constantly. It's feeding that information to you because it knows that that's of importance. Now here's how we can tap into that with real estate. What we can do is we can, if we want to be thought of all the time and seen everywhere, we need to tap into a good email newsletter system. We need to tap into what's called a custom audience on Facebook, you guys. So what you want to do is, if you're in front of them on Facebook and you're in front of them in their email, they are going to feel like you're everywhere. And that's the power of Facebook's and Instagram's advertising network, is that it has reach outside of just social media. It actually reaches into apps. It reaches into other websites. Because the advertising platform, it goes into the wallstreetjournal.com, it goes into newyorktimes.com, it goes into hgtv.com. You'll see banners and ads on those websites. And if you create an ad on Facebook or Instagram, you can actually target your network specifically. You can take your list out of your database, you can take all the people out of your phone, and you can stay top of mind with them all over the internet, everywhere they're at, and they're going to think that you are absolutely everywhere. And that will relate and equate to them feeling like you are more successful, you're more effective at what you do than maybe you are, right? And so again, very, very powerful way to really tap into an incredible feature, you guys. I'm not going to dive too much into retargeting for now. The other thing is social proof. We talked about that before and what Tammy is doing. Here's what I want to do, you guys. We are basically at the end of the presentation. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask those questions now. Otherwise, shoot me an email, shoot Maureen or Mary an email, and I want to make sure that we get your question answered. Okay. And so I want to conclude with this. Okay. What I want to conclude with is, put your arms around your people. And you guys, it's not too late if you haven't already done it. Grab your people virtually and give them a huge hug. I know agents right now that are doing virtual happy hours. They're doing virtual, meetups. They're doing a lot of fun stuff kind of virtually. You guys keep in mind, oftentimes, I know we're kind of burnt out on Zoom. I know we're burnt out on a lot of this like computer stuff, but frankly, sometimes the win is in the invite, right? That is going to keep them top of mind. And let's say that virtual happy hour is a month from now. Well, you're going to occupy their mind share for a month until they either say no or until the event happens. So again, and the win. And when people say no, guess what? We've tapped into the power of reciprocity. You invited them to something. And so, and you guys, trust is built with consistency. One of my favorite quotes, courage is not the absence of fear, it's the ability to act in the presence of fear. You guys, you know how to reach out to me. And if your office, your brokerage, your team would like a training session like this, I'm happy to hook you up, you guys. Just simply reach out to me. Thank you so much, Maureen. You rock. Again, you guys, I work with a company called West, and sister company of WFG National Title. So Mary, Ralph Costanzo's on the call today as well. You guys, appreciate your time, and I look forward to talking with you again in the future. Maureen, did you want to close it up?
Thank you to Mary and WFG, and thank you, Aaron. I've been on 3 of your training webinars now, and every time I walk away with something amazing and new to use for my business and share with my business partners. So thank you so much.
Awesome. It's absolutely our pleasure.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Maureen. Thanks for the invite.
Everybody have a great day.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.